Oh, right?
Oh, man.
Just bring it. I've been doing this for 25 years.
Yeah?
Played your tune and then just like I've been doing it forever. Watch this.
Oh,
right on the whale. Boom.
My boy.
Profesh. All right, we're back. First time in the studio. This is Great Northern Discussions 6, but first in the studio.
Nice spot, brother.
Thank you. I built it this past summer.
By hand?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. I good with the tool belt and stuff, you know.
Yeah. Guns out, man.
So we got good buddy, but most importantly, local musician, rocker, singer, songwriter, performer extraordinaire, Kris Finch from Shoot the Lights Out.
Thanks
Welcome.
for having me, buddy. What a cool time to be together.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
Well, it's fun having an old pal on too, and I also happen to be a rock fan, and you happen to be a rock star.
You have been out there with the horns many a day.
Yeah.
Many a show. Thanks.
Yeah, buddy. No, it's good. Well, I thought this is also pretty good timing. Like we were saying, I just got back from that Power Trip concert, so I don't know if people don't understand what the Power Trip was, but it was Metallica, Guns N' Roses, AC/DC, Iron Maiden, Judas Priest, and Tool. So 3 easy days.
That's a power trip.
It was a Power Trip, yeah. Barely made it through the last show.
Wow. You got stamina, man.
I don't think I don't remember all of Metallica, but
What happened?
just hit it at the right time.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But AC/DC really was the performer for me on the weekend.
Legends.
They were incredible. First time ever seen them.
Like, how do you stay that on top of it and just powered up?
Well, they're 1,000.
High voltage.
High voltage, yeah. They're 1,000 years old. Iron Maiden was even older, I think. But
I caught them the other night at the Dome, and they were lights out. Yeah. Killer.
yeah, so but I was going to say, did you rock out? But
I was in a box with 10 oilmen, and it was hard to focus.
typical Calgary. Oh, that's great. Well, anyway, yeah, thanks again. Just want to get into it, and I think you've got a really great story. So not only a great musician, but I just wanted to get into some of your past, and so not unlike a lot of Canadian boys growing up, you were first a hockey guy, right? Like
I was, yeah. I hail from a small town called Foxhorn, Manitoba, and my idols were Ronnie Lowe and Pat Floon, Mark Watton, my bestie Chris Lowe, and we all wanted to be in the NHL.
Of course.
And there was not much else to do in a hamlet of 150 people other than to hit the arena on your recesses and after school and anytime you had. It was in the rink.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah. And so, and you played in the Saskatchewan Junior.
Yes.
All right.
I was a millionaire when I was 16 years old, and that's gone. That money's gone. But yeah, I played for Melville for 3 years and North Battleford for 1. Mm-hmm. So I saw Saskatchewan top to bottom from a young age. I joined the Wolf Pack, and we went after it.
That was it.
Oh man, the best memories.
Well, I didn't. So I also played in the Saskatchewan Junior out at Notre Dame.
You were a hound.
So I don't know. So what years?
I was. I came from AAA midget in Yellowhead Chiefs in Manitoba, mm-hmm. and we won the league in 93, 94, I believe. So I was there. 94, 95, I think was my first year.
Oh, okay.
In Melville, and I played a half a season up to the deadline, and then went back to AAA for for kind of the last half of the season, and then did my last 3 years and 2 more in Melville, 1 in Battleford. Yeah. So when were you with Notre Dame?
Grind.
Oh, it was a grind.
Yeah. I was there 92, 95. So my last year, I would have been captain there. Would have been 94, 95. So that would have been your first year.
Yeah.
Makes sense. I'm old.
Black
and white photos.
Yeah, they went Technicolor right after that for us. The blue and white.
Yeah. Okay, and then so after that, then you would have continued playing, and you would have went on to SAIT or college, right?
Yeah, I was recruited to a few schools in the CIS, and also just other colleges, and decided on Calgary. I just heard a lot from my friends that Calgary was a city to be in, and it turned out that a lot of my adversaries that also had become friends along the way and from Saskatchewan League were there on team. And once I did my recruiting trip, I looked at their lineup and the returning players and was kind of like, yeah, I'd kind of like to play alongside a bunch of those guys. And
who were some of those guys?
Were
you with Cooney? Did you play with Jamie Cooney?
Jamie missed him by that much. But Craig Billick,
Billy.
Oh God, Mike Hofstrand, Colin O'Hara, lots of guys from the Saskatchewan League that I'd seen in Battleford and
maybe tussled with along the way.
Yes, a few tussles in the Saskatchewan League. Yeah.
What kind of player do you think you were? Like, if I would venture to guess. I think I know, but how would you describe?
You know what? I was like I was a power forward. I was supposed to be a power forward. I don't know what the coaches are saying these days, but definitely had to grind it out on the wall, up and down the wing.
Yeah,
and you have a lot of collisions, and those collisions turn into animosity, and you rack up a couple 100 minutes a year, and
here you are.
That's how it goes.
Leads you to the rock star life.
Yeah.
Just like that.
It did seem to lend.
Easy transition, right?
Yeah. It lends to the banging.
Okay, so when you're a hockey guy, you go to college, you graduate, presumably.
Yeah, but business administration.
Business admin. Yeah. Okay, and then
I'd actually come out. My coach had promised me a spot in a program. And he happened to be the athletic director, Ken Babby, and he was trying to get me into the cinema, television, radio, stage program, which is a little more suiting to me. And it was oversubscribed at the time. There was only 90 spots available in the program, so I'd made it through a couple rounds of the interviews, and I just didn't make the cut. I didn't have any background per se in photography or radio or recording. Or film, so it didn't end up being so that I was in that program, but I just skipped over to business admin because I did want to be on that team when I got a look at the guys, and just a couple weekends around the campus had me hooked. I'm overlooking a growing city and a lot of excitement building around town and the oil industry, just the economy itself, and I just wanted to be there. Here in town.
Yeah, it was a boom. Well, there's been a few booms here. We've seen a few. Made a lot of money, pissed away a lot of money. Next time I'm going to do it different. I swear.
Yeah, that's how you
going to save every dime.
Yeah, just reload.
Right on. Okay, so what I really want to get at is when did you discover that you're a singer? Like, were you belting around, ripping off tunes all the time, or when did this come about?
Well, I mean, most of my teammates from a young age knew that I was a singer. I was raised a singer. I was in instruction and whatever piano lessons, etc. Very young age, and took that at kind of as far as I could while becoming an athlete. And kind of had to put it down around age 12 to pursue hockey, and just to, there's a lot of travel, a lot of things going on, trying to get to an elite level, and so as it went, I was that guy on the bus singing all my favorites, and the guys are always poking me to get up there and sing in front of them and embarrass myself a bit. So
And would you bring a guitar too, or you were just belting out tunes?
Well, no. Everybody always asks me, would you bring the guitar? I don't play guitar. I just don't have the hands for it to be any good. But I did have an understanding of music, and I was a practice vocalist for years going into that, and I done some small competitions when I was young, and so I did have a grip on it, and my dad was always a guy that loved to sing, and we'd do our duets and stuff like that at these little mini festivals and in the region in Manitoba when I was a kid. So kind of had that always going on in the background, and then after hockey ended at SAIT, we won a nationals in 2000, and I did play what would be a fifth semester in 2001, but it wasn't going my way. I was a little bit tired of school. I finished up and got 1 year, half year senior in my hometown. Was kind of like a pay homage to my upbringing and get back to Foxwarren, and we played for the Falcons and won a league that year, and so that was my retirement. Basically, it was all men's league after that, and
you're just winning. You've got I've counted 3 championships here.
No, just one AAA championship in midget and 1 nationals at ACAC level.
Oh wow,
yeah,
that's pretty good.
It was hockey was wonderful to me. I met the best people and the best friends that I could ever have. Yeah, and it was always a thrill to play in front of fans, and that I guess that desire to crank up the fans always was there in me, and I would do anything to make that happen on the ice, and I still do anything to make that happen on stage. Yeah.
Well, no question there. Anytime, I've been watching you in Calgary going back to the Trop days, of course, early 2000s, still playing there. Not a creature of change. Hey?
Yeah.
Loiterer.
I'm sure that a few, more than one bartender would attest to my loitering.
Yeah. So in the earlier years, I guess, we'll just go right after college then. So when did you form the band, etc.? I remember the earlier names, but
one of my teammates, Kevin Martin, he was a good little guitar player. He literally picked it up. He was like a savant student of anything, and Marty picked up the guitar. He wanted to kind of support my singing and stuff like that, and we literally started writing songs, and he just learned so fast, and we wrote a bunch of little numbers, and he had to move back to Prince George, but he had passed them along to a friend that I was introduced to from Winnipeg named Jimmy McPhee, and we formed our first band down in Kensington called Cry Baby Fly. I don't know if you remember Cry Baby Fly shows.
I didn't get to see. No, I don't think I was around for those. What years would those have been?
You know what, buddy? You did.
I did?
I believe that our good friend Barclay Sauter's wedding was hosted by Crybaby Fly.
Oh my God! Okay,
wedding party, wedding dance session that turned into a berserker, and
that was a shit show.
And that was Crybaby Fly.
Okay, I thought maybe it was Early on Sunday.
No, Early on Sunday was a band that I formed after that. So Crybaby Fly was like a garage band. We did everything from reggae to rock and roll to blues, and still kind of the same vein these days, but that lasted for about 4 years, and we were kind of, I guess I'm not going to say outgrowing the band. I think they were probably letting go a little bit. We were having some lineup changes, and it's just hard to keep bands on the track as it goes. Guys have careers, and
you're working,
and you're working at something, because Lord knows that it doesn't really pay.
Sure.
Until you've had some success, maybe a hit or something like that, which is, still eludes
impossible.
Me, but it's damn near impossible. But it's the passion that fuels it. And so
sure.
I think that, and along the way, a couple bands that I had tagged gigs with, Early on Sunday being one of them, they were called EOS. Early on Sunday was kind of a name that we formed after I joined them, but my buddy Paul Johnson had invited me to join them in studio because he'd gotten the attention of Jeff Martin from the Tea Party, and Jeff ended up signing on to produce the record, and we did Early on Sunday, Smoke Signal. That
was good shit.
I think we got our album returned to us in hard copy end of June 2012, and a couple days later we were playing McMahon Stadium. We got a break, and I was playing in front of 25,000 people. So
crazy, yeah. How was that? Did you
Thrilling.
lose your mind?
Yeah.
Thrilling?
No, you know what? I was so calm for some reason. I guess around that time I was kind of realizing like that my performances were better served not drinking. And you know, it only took 5, 7, 8 years to figure that out, but laughably. But I was going in cool, and I did feel calm for it. It was pretty nuts. We had a stage set up in the parking lot for pregame, and all the crowd was rushing in and coming over from the C train and coming through the box office and that east entrance. And so we could, it was definitely the intensity is building, and but we were able to warm up and just play for the parking lot party, the tailgate parties as it was. And then they set up an end zone stage, complete with our own bar from Coors Light and their people, and we lived the rock star life.
It's like you made it.
Yeah,
there, right?
it was.
You did.
And unfortunately, the boys had 10 kids between them, and you know, a week later, after our Stampede gigs,
Yeah.
The guys came to me and said, "We got to raise our kids, buddy. It's been fun," and it was a bit of a letdown for myself.
Yeah.
But I did respect their wishes to kind of move on as family men and career men. And
what do you do? Yeah,
they served me well. They really did. They elevated my profile a bit and gave me the chance to work with an international rock star and get to know him a bit and just
what was he like, Jeff? I mean, Tea Party. I saw them University of Windsor in like I'm talking late 90s.
Well,
I saw them.
He is from Windsor, but you'd think he was from Windsor.
Right.
But the castle. But he is great to me. I caught him off guard a few times calling him Jeffro. He didn't really like that.
He didn't like that?
No. Mr. Martin was really good to me. He taught me a lot about songwriting and
well, I'm a talented, amazingly talented guy. Like
he's an unbelievable performer. He's a true artist, and there's no denying it. To be around him was really special. I did not take it for granted. We did partake in a few
extracurriculars.
A few extracurriculars that probably kept the project a little moving a little slower than it should have. But we were able to wrap with him in time and have a ton of fun along the way. We do dinners with our wives and and girlfriends, and he'd be fireside with all the wives literally doting on him, and that made him very happy. He
sitting on a log like a cult leader.
Oh, totally.
Just flagging him in.
like any front man, he does enjoy attention, and I give it to him. He really gave us a life experience that like no one can pay for. It was a fantasy camp.
Yeah. Oh, that's super cool.
Yeah.
Well, that's great. Well, and so now I mean I feel like, and correct me if I'm wrong, it feels like, so this is kind of like a bit of a resurgence for you, right? Like I mean, I was trying to go back and dig for when you got going again, and I found an article in the Brandon Sun. Yeah. It's like 2018 that was writing about, you know, your comeback and your tour, and then obviously I'm guessing COVID fucked all this up. I'm guessing, but
yes, it did F it right up. And at the same time, I was kind of having some challenges with the guys that I formed the band with. My good buddy James Musalak and Will Ripley. He's a Fernie guy who was considering moving back, and he was pregnant with his first. Well, he wasn't pregnant. His wife was pregnant.
Oh, well, they can do that now. So
yeah, you
men
never know.
Yeah.
But Willie was having his first kid, and I don't know if our goals are the same, but we did kind of move on. And COVID was shutting everything down. We were going to be dormant regardless. We didn't really know that at the time. But coming out of COVID, you know, James and I recruited a couple guitar players and did some different performances with different guys. But as this summer approached, we had been playing a little more, and lo and behold, some guys that were sponsoring a big concert at the back alley nightclub tent, Stampede tent, asked me if I wanted to be included in opening for the Headstones. And that was, wow,
That's insane.
aghast. I was like, okay, let's get it together even more. You think you're together, and then someone puts a challenge in front of you or a big night in front of you, and you got to bring it. So we went right to work. I went out and hired a guy that I wanted to play with. His name's Barry Drager. He plays his wife, Lori Cole, another amazing performer. And Barry was just someone who actually caught a reunion performance by early on Sunday and kind of was, we'll say, interested in doing something together. And we knew that we had to kind of have, I guess, the frontman version of a guitar player, a lead guitar player. I shuffled my guy, Brendan McQuiggan, over to keyboards and built a 5-piece with Barry's help. And we lit it up pretty good at Headstones. And at the end of that night, we were being asked to open for Bush 2 nights later. So
crazy.
Got to rub shoulders with some more.
Another model, Gavin Rossdale.
Yeah, another model. Yeah, fellow model.
So you must have been over the moon. Like I mean, Bush also. And
for me, I haven't had a highlight like that in 10 years.
Sure.
Maybe a little more than 10 years. When it was coming together, I did spend a lot of time trying to tune myself up physically, mentally, and I was doing all the things that I was supposed to do as a hockey player that I didn't really do. I was visualizing, I was training,
eating your Wheaties.
I was eating healthy and getting some running in and just trying to tighten up and really. I quit smoking, and so it all turned out for the better, and we had a great performance that night. Like I said, the ownership was side stage. I hadn't caught my breath yet, and they were asking me if I'd open for Bush Cup. So,
and you're just like, let's throw it down.
Let's do that again.
Screw it.
Yeah, I've playing for 3,000 people. I think the first night was around 2,500 people. Tent seemed really, really full, and then for Bush, it was just one leveled up.
Well, everybody said I didn't get to go, but everybody did say, and I've seen you plenty, obviously. You bring the heat, you bring the energy. I love all your sayings, and your singing's incredible. But everybody said they were like, Finchy was off the charts. That's what everybody was saying. And there was something with the megaphone. Yeah. So the power went out. What happened?
Yeah, well, shot the lights out.
Literally, yeah.
Somehow, and from all accounts from the crew, that there's a trip switch on the generator that powers the production, and I guess a gate had got opened or whatever, a little door on the Jenny had got opened, and it just tripped the power. And crazy story was that day I was considering. I called my buddy Brendan, my keyboard player and good friend, at Long and McQuaid, where he works, music shop, of course,
standard, yeah.
Yeah, you got her. And I said, do you happen to have a megaphone? I want to maybe test it and at sound check and use it in one of our songs that we call Delta, just to kind of get that bullhorn effect for a couple spots in the song. And during sound check, I tried it out. It was feeding back. I wasn't comfortable using it, and I said, you know what, man,
we don't need it.
We'll investigate this later. We'll do this later, not tonight. Of course, we had a little bit on our mind, and
let's not reinvent the wheel here.
Let's just go move on. And so it was sitting there side stage, and so we had this power outage, and it was, to me, it was pretty confusing. I thought the band had just did like a surprise for me and dropped out so that it would be just me singing, and maybe they were going to come back in and join at a certain bar, and they didn't. And I could hear Adam Esposito pounding away on the drums still. And I did look over to my right or my left, and I see Barry. He's still playing, pretending to play whatever he's actually playing, but nothing's coming out.
Yeah,
nothing being amplified. And I kind of, it's just like this stuff happens so fast. You're very confused.
Sure.
And I saw Brandon run off stage, and I thought, man, he really bailed. Like, wow, like we're all still sticking with this, Bren. Where are you going, buddy? Before you know it, he was handing me this megaphone that we had planned to possibly use. He flicked it on for me, and I just kept steaming. We were playing "Running Down a Dream" by Petty, and I just started hammering into it with the drum, and it just kind of became this fun little I mean, to me, it was like my little iconic moment, and the crowd joined in, and I think that made them really happy to just.
Yeah, it's like just a little extra. It was a total accident.
Happy accident, man. I mean, you couldn't invent that stuff, and it did. It just, things just happen by kismet sometimes, right?
Yeah, sure. That was meant to be, and like that's what everybody talks about now.
Yeah,
is that when you brought out the bullhorn, and it was an accident, but it was an unreal moment, and
I couldn't believe it. It was like, and looking back on it on film and whatnot, it's like, man, I'm so glad that I called him that morning asking for this megaphone. So
yeah, it saved you literally.
Yeah, crazy stuff happens out there in the world of rock and roll.
How do you feel up there? Like when you're outside of that moment? What do you feel when you're performing? Like, obviously, do you feel nerves before you go out there, or are you just like,
oh no,
you're a pile?
Well, you'd asked me earlier about McMahon Stadium, and
yeah,
there's a big difference between that and the back alley shows. At McMahon, you had an empty field in front of you, and you had the crowd where they sit to
on
watch
the side.
a football game.
Right.
So you didn't have bodies right in front of you pressed up against you, whereas the alley shows
they're right on top of you.
They're on top of you.
Yeah.
That's like more the rock and roll venue that you've been dreaming about playing. And I'm not saying I didn't dream about playing a stadium.
Sure.
But it represented a little bit differently. And this was music fans there to watch music.
Mm-hmm.
And so I absolutely, in contrast to the stadium gig, had a pile of nerves.
Right.
And I went earlier in the week to watch Our Lady Peace to try to, again, visualize what this was going to look like from an audience perspective. And I watched Our Lady, and I did go to their sound check and talk to Raine a little bit.
Rainer.
Yeah, and which is cool.
Yeah.
And it kind of just got in that mode of being a performer and going through it with the production team. I was kind of handing them off some stuff for visuals and just getting to know them a little bit and trying to have them remember me a bit and explain to them how nervous I was about it all. And they were fantastic. This front of house productions team was led by Mike Noga, and I had guys like Mike Trevor and Sean Davies and these guys that I met they just took care of me. They just told me, we're going to make it good, man. You just do your thing. We're going to take care of you.
Yeah.
And
you do your thing.
Yeah.
We'll do ours.
And they did nothing less than coddle me. And it was like, you talk about humbling stuff, is when you got these pro guys who work behind the scenes to make you the star you've always wanted to be. Yeah. Man, I couldn't thank them enough. And I've since, shared the video of the performance and stuff like that. I'll make sure to get that over to you. But
well, is that from do you mean like or the full performence? I saw the doc there. But.
Yeah, it's just a mini doc.
Okay.
Yeah, that's all we got. But
yeah,
I couldn't thank them enough, because going in, you go, am I going to win?
Yeah.
There's always that thing. How am I going to win this audience? And you do need help. You need your players to play their best and to work hard along the way. Yeah. And when you got I think it might have been from kind of the get-go of you were signed on to this gig to the time we did it, we probably only had about a little under 2 months to get up to about 20 songs with a new guitar player, with Barry.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And that's a heavy workload from his side. The other guys had a lot to do too, because they're working with someone new, and that changes things. When you work from player to player in a lead role, whether the rhythm section, your relationship with if you switch out a drummer, bass player's feeling on that is going to be a little bit of a different feel. And so when we added Barry, who's more of probably a country styled guitarist, who's picking up rock and roll again, it changed things from the last guys that we worked with and guys that we formed that music with way back when, before COVID, with Will Ripley. So it was a heavy pull.
Oh, I bet.
And so the pressure along the way and managing that pressure, because that's the biggest challenge. You you just don't know how everybody's going to respond, and that's not up to you either. Like that's within the individuals, right?
Yeah.
And you don't control that.
Shit can go sideways in a hurry. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And I mean, power outage, my drummer just keeps pounding away, and my bass player keeps swinging the hair and having fun, and we just kept steaming, and that was.
And you slayed it.
That was so gratifying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just dreaming about that all the time, probably.
Oh, yeah.
Fuck, I was a rock star.
Remember when?
Remember that?
Yeah. Remember when we made it?
Yeah. So I'd imagine over the years, your prepping for ripping on the stage has changed a little bit.
Yeah.
Just guessing.
Yeah,
right?
it sure has. I was not always doing my best for myself and my group in terms of preparation, because I mean had been drinking a lot through my 20s and 30s as it goes. I think we know how that works, but and then doing things to counter the effects of taking a lot of depressant,
ups and downs,
taking stimulants to try to battle back, and that it wears on your brain and it wears on your body.
Yeah.
And I listen back to some performances and I go, yeah, I just
and you're not,
I shorted it,
Yeah.
And listening back to things that I've done as of late when I'm ready, I'm prepared, I'm happy with.
There's a difference. You can see it or hear it.
And it's led me, well, lots of things have led me to understand that this is nothing I'm going to change now. Like I'm here in
this is it.
In California sobriety, I still use cannabis, and
I mean, yeah, I remember you. Yeah, like the early days, and we were like, you weren't the only one going that hard, but we remember you. We're yelling and screaming, sweating and rocking, and you're doing the same back because you are on the same level, but you're performing at a high level. So I remember those days. You were just covered and drenched.
Oh yeah, It's, I mean, I hang it out there. I don't phone in shows, and I just never would. I know that people want to see a real show. They don't want to see someone who's just so self-indulgent that they're believing in their own bullshit. They actually got to see a real person get out there and sweat and pour it on. And I was able to do that, but
sure,
I guess at what expense to my mind and. It's a lot.
So what? Okay, when did you decide? Do you know when you decided, like, I need to either get sober or get off of this, or I need to quit everything, or what was your mind? What was your thought?
I've explained to people that, like, I dreamt of sobriety for probably 5 years.
Really?
Like I was like, how will I quit? How will I stop drinking? Like,
how do I
and how will I remain in my circle that I really enjoy being in?
Sure.
Like I think a lot of people have to quit because they also want to get out of the circle they're in. Well, I didn't. Like I love my guys. I love my girls. The people, my fans, and my friendships along the way mean the world to me. And I don't want other people to quit drinking. I don't want other people to stop doing what they do, especially if they have healthy, functioning lives. But I didn't. I just, I'd sleep those mornings away, and I believe I've painted a couple of your properties, and we know those days started around noonish and worked past the supper hour after a little.
You did paint my house. Yeah, I was definitely going to bring it up. I mean, you did a great job.
Hey, thanks, buddy.
But I had a lot of, I must have had 50 to 70 random drinks that are left from old parties and the weird shit that no one wants, and you drank all that.
Yeah.
And then some.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I did it different.
Thirsty.
I was a thirsty guy, and no doubt about it.
Yeah.
And it's it was all part and parcel to playing. Growing up, I left home and was I was guided. I had guidance and people who cared about me, but they couldn't stop us from going out or whatever because they weren't our parents. We do our thing at a young age. 16, you're not at home anymore. Mom and dad aren't there to give you shit.
That's right.
And I just got after it, and I wanted to be like the 20-year-olds who weren't in high school and do what they were doing. And
we got to grow up fast when you move away for hockey and or whatever it is for school or you know, when you're 17, 18, 16 in some cases.
Yeah. So that got started early, you know, where I was off and running with, like I said, I call them the Wolf Pack. You know all about it. It's just it starts a life off that, you know, is unbridled. Like, I had a lot of rope. Like, you know, I do believe that people have a little bit of a leash on their kids, and as it should be, until they're adults. And like, that might not just be at 18, but that was
whatever you choose, 18, 21.
I had no rope on me really per se when I was 16 years old. So
away you went.
Away I went.
It's like a dog running with that giant rope.
Oh yeah,
it's not tied up.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna keep going.
So things changed when I was 42. I had it with COVID. I mean, partying your way through the first half of COVID, like I'm sure most of society kind of had to.
Yeah,
just to try to understand or numb off what was going on. But I was tired. I was tired of the way I was living, and I had to face it. And I'd thought about making the call.
Is that right?
And I finally did. I'd had a little bit of an experience. I went to, it was like day 3 of a party, and I realized that I was full at this party, and I decided to go and have a nap in my car. And I woke up the next morning in my car, in the back seat of my Cadillac. And
a lot of miles.
I found that thing could tell stories, but I was near frozen. It was minus 15.
Oh no,
I was cold.
I didn't know that.
And I came home to my wife, who was very disappointed, as she had been often, and trying to understand what I was putting myself through. And I said I was going to fix it. And I reached out to Alberta Health Services, mental health and addictions, and we got it started. And I am so glad I did.
I bet.
Changed my life.
Well, I mean, there's a noticeable difference in you, like from a day to day, like you, I don't know, just even from your color, and you've got like an aura. You always had the energy thing, but you, you seem happy. That's good.
I'm just so much more happy.
Yeah. Hard to, was it hard to make that call, or you were like, I'm done. I can't. This is fucked.
It was impossible to think of where my life was going to be the day after that if I didn't quit right then. Like, it just, I shocked myself. I guess, it was just that was a cathartic moment for me of, like I said, nearly being frozen, being so tired at the end of it all. It's like, enough is enough.
And was there ultimatums in there? Like, you're gonna, we're done, or she was already.
Oh, you know what? I don't think, no, she never put ultimatums to me. Jenna, God bless her.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I guess I started to, I had about, like, just everything kind of flooded in. Like, why am I doing it? What was I put here to do? And why do I choose to do it so hammered off and take away these memories and move them to black when they're so joyful and just there's so much magic in like the parties that I've created for my friends, but then I can't like remember half of them.
Yeah, you can't remember.
Like I said, you can't feel them.
No, that just hit home for me right now, because obviously I partake a lot myself, and I'm constantly beating myself up about too much, and I think I drink way less than I used to, but then I just did this weekend. Now it's a concert weekend. It's a full weekend. You got to go, but I barely remember Metallica, and they're my favorite.
Right.
And so okay, well, what was the point of that?
And cool. I went to a Rival Sons concert a couple years back, and this up, not so up and coming. They were becoming huge, but my favorite by far, Current Day, and I went to the concert and I drank about a half a bottle of gin before we got in the taxi cab to go down there. And I remember them literally starting their first song. I wore a cowboy hat down and I looked at my buddy. I said, I'm going to white hat this singer and I'm going to walk out the door because I can't barely see. And I did. I cut the crowd and the crowd's, what are you doing? Hey, man, we're here already. I said, get out of the way, clear a path.
Steam train rolling.
Yeah, walked up to the front and handed J. Buchanan my hat. He put it on, and I was like, there, that's all I got to offer, and that's all I'll remember of this. And I walked out, got in the cab, and I was passed out of my deck before they probably hit song 3. It was pretty sad. So, yeah, no, it's just like, I don't want to erase any more memories.
No.
I want them all. I don't know if I got 10 minutes or 10 years or whatever left, but I want them to be things that I remember. Like, and probably the biggest thing that really moved me was going, my parents didn't put me here to have this life be forgotten by me. Like, I want to take it I want to have it until it's done. And
good on you.
I was looking at it wrong. And I think there was a lot of stuff in there that was like, self-loathing about why haven't I made it, or why, whether it was like hockey or my music career or anything like that. Why hadn't it taken off yet? But I mean, come on, man. Like,
gotta look in the mirror at some point.
Maybe there's a reason for that. So
right.
And I didn't make this shift to become a rock star. I did it so that I could literally respect life that was given to me and live it better. And and look at us now, buddy.
Hey, woo, top of the world. You did it. Well, you're on your way up anyway, right?
You know what?
Hey.
I enjoy the climb to a new summit now, more so than I ever did. I like challenges now. I used to kind of steer around them. And now it's like, hey, let's give it a go. Like I said, how much time we got left?
No time like the present.
Let's just do it.
Just swing away. Well, that's like me with this shit. Same thing. I'm doing it because I actually like it.
Yeah.
I like connecting with buddies or people I don't know. Fine, but I just want to connect and dig out some shit. See what we can dig out of there.
No better person to do it than you. Like you got
it's
that
fun.
gift. When I got to know you in the beginning, it was like you just got this. How would you say, gregarious nature that's just like, it's infectious. So
thank you.
Being around you is a good time. And
I like to have fun. I don't take myself too seriously. I mean, you can't, but you got to sometimes, I suppose. But
like I told the guys before the big shows, was like, let's not take ourselves too seriously. Let's just take the work seriously.
Yeah,
and
that's right. Let's just go have fun.
We're still guys. Like, let's do it.
Yeah, just playing around.
Yeah.
And so, okay, and you said, so you're off the sauce. You partake in cannabis or whatever, and that's it for now. Which is like, this is going to be in hospitals, I would think, at some point anyway.
Oh, yeah.
For sure.
There's a lot of medicine out there, and people, whether it's the government or your grandma and grandpa or whatever, are going to look at different substances differently. I've tried damn near all of them and over the years and whatever, but Current Day, probably the most grounding medicine that I've found has been mushrooms.
Phenomenal.
Psilocybin, made me face myself and my reality and my decision making, and just like I said, it's really grounded me. It made me face myself, and I don't do it every day, but probably every other day I take a small dose of it.
Take a micro,
and I just kind of chart a course, and I really start to focus. Laughably, it's not like a Fear and Loathing in Calgary kind of situation. It's really a focused like I said, it's like exotic coffee to me.
Yeah, well, that's essentially what it is.
Yeah.
It's like drinking, like if you take a macro, it's like pounding a pot of coffee without the jitters.
Right.
Like you're just hyper focused and minus the runs to the can. You're just you're in the pocket. I started dabbling with those actually. So you probably know I've had a million surgeries. Right?
Yeah.
So a couple hearts. I've had a whole whack of knee surgeries, 8 knee surgeries, and the last surgery I did in 21 or 20. I can't remember. There was a blur. I had like 3 surgeries over COVID. But I started anyway experimenting with all the gummies because I hadn't really smoked since I was a kid. Smoked all the time, and then I like quit because it was too much or whatever. And then when I was basically in my basement in pain, popping perks, and then I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna figure out the gummies, what I need, what's for pain, what's for sleep, what works for me. I was trying every CBD dose, every oil.
Right.
I tried everything, and I got it figured out what I like. And then the micro psilocybin, I started with the micros too. And then if I'm going out, I'll have a macro or whatever, and it's fine.
Bit, but, you know,
totally fine.
Yeah, you can manage it, and like I said, if you know yourself and you know your surroundings, it's not so bad.
That's true. Yeah,
setting, right? But yeah, like you've had some crazy stuff going on with your heart and and probably your soul.
Mm-hmm. Soul, a bit of searching for sure,
dude. I'm ecstatic we're here together because
weird time. Yeah,
it really was. You know, I was scared for you too, and I know a lot of your friends who are just pulling and praying.
Yeah, thanks. No, they were. I think I don't know. I think I wasn't. I don't know if I really dealt with it, to be honest. At the time, I was just go forward. I had to go through it and figure it out.
Brave man.
Yeah. So
I've been very lucky, despite all my efforts to crush myself, that
you've had like no surgeries.
Well, not true.
There was one time.
There was a time when I fell off a ladder painting at my buddy Danny Hoffner's house.
Oh yeah, did you fall at Hops's place?
I did.
I didn't know that.
Oh, that was kind of a catalyst moment, probably to
shut her down
toward the end. Mm-hmm. I was not drunk, but I was still drinking back then, and I fell off a ladder in his home there, and the kids were being homeschooled or what have you for COVID, and so they were in the house. We'd given them the lowdown on stay away from Finchy's works. So thank goodness they were. But I fell 10 feet from a ladder, and my foot went into a section of ladder that
oh my god
crunched it. And
so did you
have
hit
surgery during COVID on my foot?
Did you so it went in and then you fell?
How's the ladder kind of? So I would be on the ladder goes, and my foot goes in the hole under a rung, and my body weight crushes the rung on it.
Holy Christ.
And 2 plates and 9 screws later, I was sidelined for a while.
He should have given you some danger pay, old Hops.
Hopsing, he was.
I'm sure he was there to help.
Very, very good to me.
Yeah.
I think the healer that day was whiskey.
Yeah.
But
sure.
Thank God I was with a family that I knew, and like it was truly, it was just an accident. It wasn't like negligent, but
if you were to pile it all together, you'd think, okay, maybe this makes sense. Like now I'm fucking falling off ladders and on the job.
Yeah, I was not happy with myself, and it set me back, and in turn I did what I always do, and I resorted to the bottle and numbing it off, and God knows there was a lot of pill taken for the pain. But yeah, my spirit was pretty low coming out of midway point of COVID. It was I think, like I said, I can't speak for anybody else, but I was pretty rattled about where my life had gotten, and I wanted more.
It didn't help. Yeah, the time didn't help. I think a lot of people probably got broken who maybe had some other ailments that just came to the surface because we were trapped.
Yeah.
Living with our spouses or others or family or single, all bad.
All bad.
24/7.
Yeah, if you got a partner, you see too much of them.
Yeah.
If you're single, you see no one, and you see too much of yourself. You hear too much of your own voice. In your
I
head.
can't even believe that happened, to be honest.
No, I try to stay apolitical on things. I'll probably keep it there today, but I mean, it's like really, is that the answer? Putting people inside.
It worked. It eradicated.
Nailed it.
Boom. Next pandemic. Okay, so what's next for you guys? What do you got? You got a tour coming up. I saw that. Why don't you tell us?
You know what? Like as far as the tour goes, we're just really trying to pen the shows ahead of time so that we can prep and have new material for each show. Yeah. So, we got playing a couple new spots in town. We're going to be doing Hitman's. Which is a little spot in the casino. Rats lent his name to a club run by the Back Alley Group, and so
I've been in there. Once I've been in there.
Cool little spot.
Yeah, it's cool.
Kind of like Brett's own little museum bar. Fantastic little spot. So we're going to do a little party over there on November 4th, and we're at the Trop in a couple weeks here on October 26th. Of
course, Trop.
Yeah, the old haunt. Yeah, they like me a lot more nowadays. or I don't know. They
or maybe less.
Like they're missing some dough.
Yeah,
from the till that would have otherwise been there in the old days. But it's still grinded out. It's work by committee. I try to be the leader of the band, and I mean I am the leader of the band, but I don't do this on my own. But like I said, I don't play guitar, so
right.
I'm not going to be that busker with like a drum on his back.
Just got to lead by example.
So we're still trying to book shows for next spring and summer. I think we're going to end up doing a lot of work through the winter on new material and trying to bring new songs to the table. And
so how does that look like? If you're so you're going to make an album, who are you using? Local? Like how does that work?
You know what, we've got enough connect in town with guys that we are comfortable with behind the board, and really it's up to the players to evolve that music to where you want it to be. And I think for the most part, guys are on team. It's always a semantic conversation that you're constantly having through rehearsals and performances about what sounded good and what didn't. And what your identity is or whatever, and what is a good song for that matter. So, we're a rock and roll band, and we want to be, I like exciting stuff, but I do also like to strip it back a bit and just show some vulnerability. Yeah. I think that's still important, and, get to the real of it, strip back versions of songs and stuff like that. So,
well, you're an artist. Yeah. That's what you do.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just share your art. I what I'm really trying to do this year, because we've been stutter stepping a bit through the COVID and off the hop of reintroducing music and live entertainment or entertainment of any kind to society. It's taken, people are putting their toe in the water, and am I going out or am I not? And am I gonna raise my voice when I come to a show? Am I gonna let a fuck yeah go out loud, or am I just gonna sit on my hands? So we're just trying to culture people back into celebrating, I guess, the vibrancy that's just inside of music, and
life again,
and life. Let's get it on. It's okay.
I like what you said at the very start of I think I can't remember what show it was, but in your doc you said you're ready to get back to work. So you yelled at the crowd, and I'm like, that's so fitting. Yeah, right.
It's this time, like things that have been sidelined intermittently over the last little bit, whether it's due to the pandemic or my recovery or differing schedules of all the players and people in general, that you're just trying to get rhythm going in society, where they do go out and they do get social, right? There's all sorts of ways to do that, but it's taken a bit, and I do feel like we're ready again.
We are. I don't know. I think and from what I just saw down there at Coachella, people are ready. There's like 100,000 screaming sweating, raging pigs down there. Just not a great looking crowd, right? It's a metal crowd. My wife asked, like, what kind of people are you seeing there? And I'm like, well, not the photographed kind. Like, you know, old, sweaty, a lot of beards, the odd boob, not really. Older one.
Out of a sleeveless shirt.
Falling out.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's not an attractive crowd, you know, but it was fun.
Oh, man.
And everybody was ready.
If they're there, I give them praise, because we just need people coming.
Yeah,
and roar, just celebrate, man. Just be people again.
People miss it. People miss the live music, I think, for sure. And so so Stampede, would there be a potential that you would have your own show, do you think? Because you were an opener this year, or what do you think?
You know what? Whether it's opening for a big act or headlining, I've never really looked at it in any differently. I kind of look at it like a festival atmosphere, where if I'm playing a gig in front of another band, like, we're both at the same venue with the same people. I'm bigger than you because I played second. I have to put my bar as high as I can put it, try to hit it.
Yeah.
And like I said, reach a new summit. So that's going to be by me bringing my best and bringing more or whatever. And I'm never going to look at it any differently.
No.
As far as having my own show, I guess that's kind of between that's just between the future and us. Like, we won't know until
you don't know
until we've put ourselves out there enough. We're doing a little bit more recording right now.
Yeah.
We're getting our tracks that are in the can as we speak. As they'll be coming out and available for streaming, etc. On all the platforms by Christmas here. And you know, that's some stuff that's essentially been archived until we cracked it open for the Stampede shows. I mean, it sat dormant, and we're just trying to get it out there now.
Finally got to lay it out there. Yeah.
Where
would you get the most traction for making pennies and cents? What is it, like Spotify or every streaming? Like, which one?
Okay.
There's like too many now.
This is I don't know. This is a tough one to answer while endorsing people that give you the platform, but you know, it's 0.00 cents a stream and whatever.
It's peanuts.
It's peanuts a stream, but I mean, the only way you're going to get a track to hit is to put it somewhere and have it shared by this person to that person, and it starts to branch out, and it takes on a life of its own. But you'll never know. I mean, like, I've had my arguments with players about even songwriting credits and stuff like that. I'm like, 0% is 0.00. So I mean, let's just do it.
Yeah.
Let's just throw it down and let people share it and let people have it. If it doesn't make me money, I'm not gonna be sad about that. I want you to be able to listen to my song when you want to listen to it. And that's that.
Makes total sense.
Yeah.
Obviously, long term, hey, it'd be great to make money, but at your core, you're a musician and an entertainer, and you want to put stuff out there for people to enjoy.
Absolutely, and
right?
I mean, probably the best paying money that you could make is by doing live performance for sometimes corporate, sometimes private, and sometimes, you know, places are willing to pay. I'll go with what you're worth. As just a public consumer and ticketed price, you know, that can come to fruition pretty quick if you've got the right exposures happening. But that's what we've been kind of working on lately is, you know, we did a little documentary of the alley shows, and we're just trying to share to people what level we're at today. Yeah. And of course we want to have more of those.
100%.
Whether they happen or not, hey, that's on the people, so we're inviting them out. Hey, well, let's start at the Trop on October 26th. Get your ass
perfect.
Down there.
Get them out there. Yeah, that's the spot. They got to hit.
But we'll point you to where you can listen to our music at our website at stlo.rocks.
There it is.
Yeah,
plugging his own shit. I didn't have to do anything,
buddy. I got it.
Love it. Yeah, So for anybody who isn't familiar with Shoot the Lights Out, I mean, as a buddy, as a fan, you gotta. These guys are insane, and Finchy's ever the performer, and love your band, and I wish you nothing but success, buddy. So thanks for coming.
I'm glad you're doing this. I just it's just such a fitting role for you, brother.
Thanks. I appreciate it. We'll keep it up.
You got her, man.
Okay, buddy. Last Great Northern discussion.
Okay. Cheers.
Take care.